Be sure to subscribe for more content.
What is up, ladies and gents? Welcome to the BigBC Finance Channel, and I hope you're having a very lovely day today. So in today's video, we're going to be talking all about Terra Classic USD, or USTC for short, what has happened to it recently and where we think the price is going to go to in the future, and why I'm particularly bullish here on USTC. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. And of course, if you appreciate the daily analysis on this channel and you're one of the 86% of people that watch my videos that are not yet subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button if you like this content. So without further ado, let's get the annotations back on the screen and let's talk about what we are seeing here on USTC first, followed by the price prediction later in this video. So to begin with, what we've seen here on USTC is a nice pump from these lower levels down here all the way up to around 2.5 cents, resulting in about a 16 or 17% trade here, which is quite a nice little pump, the largest one we've seen for a while. And of course, I'm sure by now you'd have seen the news about this new investigation that is happening into Sam Bankman-Fried, and it has to do with UST and Luna. And of course, the news is that Sam is being investigated for potentially being connected to the crash of UST and Luna. We know that someone shorted UST with a large amount of money, which then caused the price of Luna to come crashing all the way down. But now it's come full circle in the sense that it could be Sam Bankman-Fried, and if that is the case, then it should clear Do Kwon's name, and that should be very bullish, not only for USTC, but also Luna Classic and Luna 2.0, because investors should be more willing to come in to invest in these cryptocurrencies, knowing that they're not investing in a cryptocurrency made by a bad actor. So that is why that news in particular is bullish, and that is why we saw this 16% pump. At the moment though, on the very short term, what we've seen basically is just some sort of consolidation in this period. I'm not really seeing all too many chart patterns, but I'm watching for something that could be developing into the future that looks a little bit like this. This would be some sort of triangle, and this is a consolidation pattern, kind of consistent with the price action that we're seeing here. It looks like it's starting to consolidate in more of a sideways motion at this 2.4 cents price level. And of course, if we do see this as a result, we should see a nice price target upon the breakout of that triangle of around a 16% trade. So I'll be looking out for that over the coming days. But at the moment, there isn't really enough price data kind of say this with confidence, but this is something that I'm keeping my eye on the short term. But on the longer term, what I'm seeing here on USTC is actually very, very bullish, because and so since the 9th of November, as prices come down into this trading range, nothing too much has happened. There has been a few pumps and a few dumps along the way, but prices have been fairly steady here on USTC, but it does look like it's starting to reverse. Have a look at this. So if you have a look at the long-term average of the direction, it looks like in the beginning, up until about the start of December, really, it's been going in this downwards trend, and now it's really starting to convincingly come back in the upwards direction. If we go on the one-day chart as well with the RSI and the MACD, what we do see is that the RSI actually flipped onto the bullish side just a few days ago. We got a value of 50.68, which is just above the halfway line, which is a good sign. We're seeing green bars on the histogram, which means that the momentum here on USTC is bullish on the one-day chart. So that's definitely a good sign. In addition to that as well, what we can see here is prices are generally remaining above this blue line here. In fact, it's used it several times as a support since the prices did that Do Kwon pump back a few days ago. And of course, this blue line here on the 1 hour chart is a determinant of trend. It's the 100-hour moving average. And when prices are above this line, it typically means we're in a bullish trend. But when prices are below this line, we're in some sort of bearish trend. So as you can see over here, for example, prices remained well below this blue line for the majority of the time. But now moving forward, you can see that since the start of December, really, prices have actually remained mostly above our blue moving average there. So things are looking fairly bullish for. Now, those are several reasons why I'm bullish here on USTC. But another major reason that we cannot ignore is the fact that what we've seen before is when prices have been heading in some sort of downwards direction. So let's take this for an example. So back in 21st of November here on USTC, prices have headed down, and what we see here is a bearish divergence with the volume. The volume actually increases as the prices head down, meaning that investors here on USTC see this price action as justified. However, in more recent times, what we can actually see on USTC, so let's have a look at this region, for example. Prices actually do head down in this region, similar to how they headed down last time. But what you'll notice is that volume actually copies the price. They both head in a downwards direction. So this time, when the prices come down on USTC, investors do not see this price as justified, and therefore we do not see more people selling their USTC. This indicates that sellers are potentially running out on USTC, and this could mean that prices in the near future head up on USTC. This zone here basically was a zone of accumulation, and it looks like prices are starting to head up because sellers are running out and people are just accumulating USTC in the hopes that prices go up in the future. So this sign in itself is particularly bullish. Basically, when prices have gone down since December, really, the volume has followed it down as well. But back in November, what we saw was volume actually increased as prices went down. So that was pretty bearish. So there's a marked difference of investor behavior in USTC, which is much more bullish. And then what I'm also potentially seeing on the 4-hour chart is some sort of cup and handle pattern form. Basically, a cup and handle is a chart pattern, is a bullish chart pattern where we first see a cup. So we want to see kind of a rounded U-shaped price action like this. So we've already got this first part here. For it to complete the cup, we want to see prices basically head to 4.1 cents, 4 cents in the first place, but then we also get this handle area where prices sort of retrace. And if we do end up seeing something like this, so let's say over the next couple of days on USTC we see prices continue upwards and then they hit 4.1 cents, 4 cents, and then start to retrace back in the downwards direction, then we'd be looking out for this cup and handle pattern, because if we head up from this kind of retracement, that would be a mega price target of the distance between the bottom of the cup and this resistance line. That could be 115% trade if it does end out playing. But this is something I'm seeing on the longer term, and of course nothing is concrete about this pattern until we form this cup and some sort of handle where prices retrace back in the downwards direction afterwards as well. So of course I'll cross that bridge if we get there, but now that's just something that I've got on the back of my mind for the longer term here on USTC. Of course, another important thing that we do have coming on USTC another important thing that we do have on USTC as well is what is happening on Tuesday in 2 days time. And basically we have a very important event happening there, which is the inflation rate data. And this inflation rate data is going to make prices move quite a lot here on USTC. If I just show you what happened with the previous inflation rate data back on USTC, it was literally with the last inflation rate report. Basically what we saw with that was a better than expected result for inflation, and as a response we saw this pump of around 24% here on USTC. Now this happened in the space of literally an hour. The prices did come down for whatever reason afterwards, but we saw a 24% pump in just an hour. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on USTC for when the inflation rate report comes out. And basically it comes out just before the stock market opens. So in my time that is 2:30 p.m. and I am UTC +1. And so just before the inflation rate report comes out, I'm going to be here on Trading Economics. This is a really good website to view inflation rate as it comes out live as well. And basically what we can see here is that the previous inflation rate was 6.3% for the core inflation rate and 7.7% for the inflation rate. And what we want to see is this consensus beat. So basically we want to see a value lower than 6.1% for core inflation and 7.3% for the normal inflation rate. If that does happen, then it should push prices in the upwards direction here on USTC. But if we see inflation rate and core inflation rate higher than these two numbers here, then it should push the prices down. Now of course the magnitude of this price action will probably be based on how far it is away from consensus. If the actual values come out exactly as the consensus estimates, then there shouldn't be that much price movement. But say if we get a core inflation rate of 5.1% instead of 6.1%, then that would make a massive move in the upwards direction. So I'm going to be on cryptos like USTC as just before that inflation rate comes out, and I probably will be trading it just because there will be a lot of volatility on the markets and therefore a nice trading opportunity. Of course, as I showed you last time, we saw a 25% pump in the upwards direction. So again, this time if we do see a large deviation, we should see a massive price move and a great trading opportunity. So I do recommend that you do keep up to date with that. Of course, I will be posting on my trading view if I do make any trades, if I do see any further patterns here on USTC. So be sure to follow me on there for real-time updates. The link is in the description below. But in terms of what I have to say in this video, that's pretty pretty much it. Of course, as a summary, I'm bullish in general because of the moving averages, the MACD, the RSI, and also because I do think we've been in an accumulation period here, where shown by the volume analysis. And of course, I'm keeping my eye out for a potential long-term cup and handle pattern, as well as that inflation rate data that is coming out on Tuesday. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and if you found this helpful, do be sure to smash the like button, hit the subscribe if you haven't done so already, but otherwise I'll see you in my next video.